Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's episode number 237 of the Audible Farm podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. Go to www.fdfineartsassociation.org to find out more about their cause. The Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association believes that arts should be accessible to everyone, and so do we. Such a great organization out there. They support basically any type of art anywhere in the Fort Dodge area. It's that plain and simple. They're like the go-between between the artists and the venues. It's such a great organization. It's hard to describe in just a couple sentences exactly what they're doing, but I don't think the Fort Dodge arts and music scene would be what it was without, or what it is without them. So thank you very much to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. This episode, I'm sitting down with Zach Suntken. Zach is such a fun guy. I met him at a jam, I believe. I think that was where I first saw him. Maybe an open mic night. I can't exactly remember, but we were on a show together once, and I was like, oh, sweet, I actually get to sit down and watch like a whole set. And it was so fun to watch him play. And it was one of those things where it's like, where's this guy been hiding? What's his deal? And we find out what his deal is in this episode. And that's like one of the greatest parts about this podcast is I get to find out more about people that I didn't actually know about. And it turns out that Zach's been around longer than I have. So younger than me, but he's been playing a lot longer than I have. So it's one of those things where maybe I shouldn't have waited until I was 27 to start playing music. Maybe I should have done it the way he did it and played through my 20s, and it's great to know he's back out there playing music again. And you'll hear all about it in this episode. It's so fun. This is the first time we basically ever met and sat down and talked for, any extended period of time. Other than just basically saying hi to one another. So this is really cool. You guys get to listen in on the very first time I got to meet Zach Suntken. So enjoy it. It's episode 237 with Zach Suntken.
It's the Audible Farm Podcast with your host, Peter Stockdale.
Sitting down today with Zach Suntken. Is that how you say your name?
Yep.
All right, I nailed it. It's cool. Like you and I had actually ran across, like our paths crossed at like a VFW show once. Do you remember that? Like, I played with Jesse. I think you opened up maybe.
Yeah, I opened up for the Schoen Brothers.
That's what it was.
And then, for Jesse, I guess I was first, and then Jesse and you and Jesse played, and then the Schoen Brothers were after that.
Was that like a benefit show for something?
I think it was an honor show for the veterans, because it was right around Veterans Day.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I forgot exactly what it was for, but I think that was one that Jesse was like, yeah, this show's like a mile away from your house. Do you want to just go over and play it? I'm like, yeah, I'll come over. It's not a big deal.
Right. Yeah.
So,
And I think I was playing a song or whatever, and I think Jesse said something. I don't know Jesse very well either, you were sitting next to him, and I remember saying something like, "Who's that cat out there?" Because it was kind of dark and couldn't see it. And you're like, "Oh, we'll talk later."
Yeah. And I was going to talk to you about the podcast, and then we like barely said hi, and then that was about it. Because I don't know, like you're coming off stage, I'm going on stage. There's not a whole lot of time to banter, But the fun part about this, we were talking beforehand. This is like basically the first time we met. So that's what this podcast is for meeting people. So I was impressed by watching you play, and it made me like wonder where did you come from? How long has this guy been playing? If you're from Humboldt or this area, where have you been? It's just all this stuff where it's like, all right, so you get online, it's like, oh, you've been to some open mic nights and you've been to some jam nights and you kind of like you've played a couple shows, and it's like, okay, so you do exist out there.
Yeah.
But let's like start from the beginning. Where are you from?
So originally I guess I'm from Havelock, Iowa. So that's, for if you don't know, it's north of Pocahontas.
Okay.
About 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Went to high school in Pocahontas, all that. I started playing guitar, I think I was 16.
All right.
So sophomore in high school. Basically me and some buddies, we all got guitars up for Christmas all at the same time, so we kind of learned together.
Yeah.
That made it a lot easier for sure.
Did like one of you ask for a guitar and then the rest of you were like, well, all right, we all need guitars to make a band, or was it just like a happenstance thing?
I think I don't know exactly for sure how it happened, but we're all involved in music and love listening to music, and And I guess it just so happened we all got guitars at the same time, and that's kind of how it started.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us go through this phase of like, okay, if I can play the, what, a clarinet or whatever, but like that's not what I'm hearing on the radio. So I want to play one of those, you know. In our instance, it was guitars for the most part.
Yeah, I guess musically speaking, I guess my first instrument was the trumpet.
Yep, trumpet. I played trumpet.
Yeah, yep, in 5th grade, and was in band. I think until my junior year, and then I stopped band for whatever reason. Don't really remember why, but stopped band. But did vocal all through high school and stuff.
Okay.
Show choir, select choir, all that good stuff.
That checks out.
And really enjoyed all that stuff.
Yeah, you're good at singing.
I appreciate
for
that.
Sure.
Yeah, so like you probably know Raleigh Jensen.
Yeah.
So he was my first band teacher, I do believe, in 5th grade.
Cool.
Okie, and then my middle school band teacher as well.
Nice. I live in the same neighborhood as Raleigh.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. That was something I found out maybe a couple months back, and I was like, oh, cool. Like if I ever need to like jam with somebody, I could just call Raleigh up and like,
right,
he'll be right here, you know,
right
over in a heartbeat. That's really cool though. It's fun how like everything intersects like that, and I know Raleigh because he's in the Humboldt area and he plays music in the Humboldt area, and I just see him out and about, and we've talked and played music together. So it's like, oh, I know who Raleigh is, and then it's like I think about that, like how many people has Raleigh interacted with, because he's was a music teacher for how many years?
Yeah,
20 years or whatever. Career, I don't know what it was, but yeah. So he's like a music teacher. Like how many people did he inspire? In some capacity or another. And then it's also like as a music teacher, he can probably play every instrument.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
Cool. Like yeah. Makes me wonder. Like I bet he plays guitar.
It wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me.
I don't think I've ever seen it happen, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. So you didn't really have like any like general inspiration like to play the guitar? Like there wasn't like I got to be Bob Dylan or like my your relative's significant other plays. None of that was really in the forefront.
I mean there's definitely some outside influence too. Growing up, I watched a family friend, Al Schroff, play live music a lot.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of him.
The names might sound familiar, but I don't know.
Al Schroff, Al Bodine. They call him Al Bodine too.
Okay.
Anyways, so I grew up listening to him, watching him, and so it was always something that I think I probably wanted to do, but didn't ever really push myself to go do it until all of a sudden Christmas comes. I got a guitar in my hands, and
I mean that's perfect though. Like, was it what kind of guitar? Was it an electric guitar or an acoustic?
It was acoustic. It was a Washburn Lion.
Oh, nice.
So it's a Walmart special.
Not bad though. Like I've actually played a couple of those where I'm like, this. I've played worse. I've definitely played worse than these. That's fun though, and like your parents were smart, or whoever got it for you were smart. Didn't go with the electric route.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how many parents made that mistake.
Right.
Oof. That's a rough one. Do you ever play much electric guitar? Because I usually just see you playing acoustic.
Acoustic, yeah. So I do have an electric. I've never played it live. I hardly play it at my house on my own, actually. So yeah, pretty much just straight acoustic.
Nice. So let's get into your style of play. Like what kind of music did you gravitate towards when you started playing guitar? Like did you guys go the obvious route of playing punk and rock and stuff like that growing up, or did you? I mean, like, I think you're more gravitated towards, like, the singer-songwriter, like, folk rock guys,
Yeah,
so.
I think you definitely, that's a pretty good, nailed it on the head there for sure.
Was that, like, always your inspiration when you started playing?
Yeah, I mean, so I grew up listening to, Neil Young, Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, like, that type of stuff.
Yep.
And, in my set list, I find a lot of those type of songs that come out. And then, later, the past few years, well, I shouldn't say past few years, past 10 years or so, I really have enjoyed like Red Dirt country music and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's been really popular.
Yeah, so I like listening to that stuff too, and like I said, growing up was Neil Young and Bob Dylan and that type of stuff, and that kind of came from my mom. She always listened to that stuff, like the Beatles and Rolling Stones and things like that.
Awesome. So like. Let's go to like playing shows. Was your end goal always to like play a show somewhere, or were you just kind of like thinking, I'm just gonna basement rock for a while, or how long did it take before you played a show? Like, where's the gap between you're in the basement playing the acoustic, learning some Neil Young, to you're at the VFW? Where was your first show? Like, let's go in between there. What's in between?
Yeah, so the first time I played in front of people was my junior year of high school for the swing show.
Okay.
For show choir, every year they put on this swing show, and you can select a number and do like your own solo act or whatever, kind of just get students out in front of people and play music. Mm-hmm. And I guess the year before, one of my buddies who had played guitar, Nick Ballard, he played Angel from Montgomery by John Prine in the swing show, and I remember sitting there thinking, like, I want to do that. I kind of want to play a live song like that. And so then that next year, that was kind of a goal, and I played I think I played Wonderwall.
Nice.
By Oasis.
Classic first song.
Right.
Yeah.
One I still play today, actually.
Yeah.
I just never let that song go, I guess, for whatever reason.
That's one of those songs where like in a guitar player's realm, it's just like considered like maybe hacky or like whatever, but like you go play it live and people go freaking bananas.
They love it.
When they figure out what you're playing. Yeah. It's like, oh man, this is Wonderwall.
Yeah. They love it.
Yeah, they're like coming out of the other rooms and just like, what? There's peeking around the corner. Like,
Right.
People walking by, like, I heard somebody playing Wonderwall. I had to come in. You know, it's like one of those types of songs. So
For sure. Kind of cliche, but, you know, it's a good song and it always will be. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a handful of those where it's just like, I really don't like this song particularly, maybe, but like when you go play it in a live setting, it's just like, oh, this is almost cathartic for the people in here, you know, to be hearing this.
For sure.
Yeah. So you played a show. Did it go? Let me ask you this: how did it go?
I felt like it went well.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I can't really say it was a show. It was just one song, but yeah.
But still,
I felt like it went well. I do.
I feel like my first time ever playing, I played at like a school talent show type deal, and I was like young. I was probably like a sophomore in high school or whatever, but like it was bad. It was, I mean, like it wasn't like horrible, but like it wasn't the greatest. It definitely could have been a lot worse, but it was you know, it left a lot of room for improvement. But you know, kudos to you. I mean, like being able to sing is like the majority of the battle when it comes to like being a singer-songwriter. I feel like, you know, so many of us have this desire to do it, and it's like, I can't sing a lick. So I think you're pretty lucky in that. Have you always been able to sing, or was that something where you like growing up, you reluctantly were like, oh, I'm in chorus or whatever, but then you were just like, oh, I'm good at this actually?
You know, I enjoyed chorus and music class growing up. My mom's a really good singer.
Nice.
She was always singing in the kitchen and stuff, you know, so.
That makes sense. Probably fostered it for you.
Yeah, right. So I've always been a singer, I guess, for as long as I can remember. And then, you know, you get into elementary school and you got music class, and then middle school, high school, you get vocal and more stuff. And so, yeah, I was in all that stuff and enjoyed it.
Oh, cool.
So.
Yeah, like I was never really in a lot of that stuff. And I just remember how like diverse it was, because some of them would be like, I don't know, like, they had like show choir and swing choir, and like they're all just like a little bit different, and some of them are like, this one involves like dancing and stuff too, and it's like, holy crap, what is all this stuff going on here? But I guess it's like that weird bridging the gap of like musical type stuff with just chorus stuff, you know. And I think that's just because I didn't have a lot of involvement with it growing up. I don't really, it's hard for me to like discern what the difference between all of them was. But like, what were like the ones you were in?
So yeah, I was kind of in anything the school offered for anything vocal wise. I was a part of. So choir, show choir, select choir, all of it.
Did you guys have musicals there?
We didn't do a musical when I was in school. No, they didn't offer a musical over in Pokey. That was kind of like the swing show was kind of the bigger music thing over there. Swing show choir stuff. So
that's kind of fun how you go from like, I mean, Pokey to Humboldt is like. It's like 20 miles, you know, or 25 miles maybe, you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh, it's just a little bit different, you know, like you guys focus on this thing and you think that's like the thing for your community. And like over here, I mean, like the musicals and the plays used to be like a huge deal, you know, and I mean, at our school, I never was involved in any of them because basically I just felt like I wasn't talented enough, you know, to go out there and do that kind of stuff. And then far be it for me to like now host a podcast and play live music, I guess. But so you've been playing for how long now? How many years? Not to like out your age, basically.
Yeah, no, you're good. So it'd be about 20 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
Geez, you look younger than me. Yeah. You're like my age.
Yeah,
That's
35. So
crazy, man. Oh man, I would not have pegged you for a 35-year-old though. Honestly, like you look young. You look like you've, in your like mid-20s probably. That's crazy. That's awesome.
I'll take that compliment.
Yeah, I would for sure. Have you ever tried to write like any original music?
So I guess though I played that first show, right?
Yeah.
And then the next year I did it again, and
okay.
And then
what song did you play this next year? Do you remember?
Oh man,
I just want to see where the gap was between Wonderwall and
it's
what.
Green Day. It's Good Riddance.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our class song when I
Yeah.
graduated.
Yeah. So another kind of cliche acoustic song,
I'd take that one though.
right?
I mean, that's another one where like Jesse every now and then will play a Green Day song and people just lose their minds.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, yeah, I mean, it fits.
Right? No, it was great. I think I played harmonica on that
Cool.
one too. So yeah, that's something I've always enjoyed playing as well, is harmonica.
Yeah, when did you start playing harmonica?
About the same time I got my first guitar. Yeah. Harmonica's kind of came along with it. It's kind of that, that singer-songwriter kind of feel, and just always enjoyed the sound of it and playing around with them. And
Man, I wish that was like another thing. I wish I played more harmonica. Like I have one nice harmonica.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna buy this and I'm just gonna learn. And it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have to pick this key and go with it. But like, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Never really got any good at
Yep.
it. And it's ironic too because a harmonica fits in your pocket. You can take it anywhere.
Yeah.
It was originally like the whole like the cowboy thing. Like when are you gonna bust out that harmonica and
Yeah.
play a little bit, or whatever. There's nobody that's just like, when are you gonna bust out that, grand piano, like it just doesn't work like that.
No.
So how'd you get good at
It doesn't.
How'd you get good at the guitar and the harmonica? Did you like learn online, or did you buy books, or did you just kind of go by ear, or like a chord chart and just kind of figure it out from there?
Yeah, that was kind of just kind of doing it. That was kind of like before YouTube.
Yes.
So this has been like 2004, 5-ish, I think, time frame. So
Yep.
like just jumping online to watch somebody else do it wasn't quite there yet. I remember having a few DVDs and stuff, and then just playing with my friends, with some buddies, and then just back and forth, and then the harmonica thing, just kind of a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Probably practice that more than I ever practiced my guitar, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the harmonica. I mean, I feel like the harmonica might be more challenging. But again, I feel like there's only so much you can do with it eventually, and then you just have to like. It's no different than guitar. It's like, well, we just have to make the pattern different between doing this or that. Recently, I saw Matt Woods play. I got the hat on, by the way, for anybody that saw the Facebook post a couple weeks back. But Dustin Arbuckle was playing with him, and he's like super good at the harmonica. Like and it's just weird for me to just like sit there and watch. It's like I can't even be like what I would call like Bob Dylan good, which is still talented, but like I don't know. The only thing I could basically do is just guarantee that it would be in the right key.
Yeah.
And that's about it. And
That's 90% of it.
well, I guess I have that battle. I just have to like remember to breathe into the harmonica.
Yeah.
I don't know. Harmonica just seems hard. I've had so many people that can play that are just like, just pick one up and play it. It's like, maybe I'm self-conscious about it because I don't want to go through like when you first picked up the guitar, you weren't good at it, but you power through and you get good.
Yep.
I don't know if I have that for the harmonica. Maybe it's because of the way it sounds.
It could be. Yeah, it's definitely a different instrument. Not that you don't listen when you're playing guitar, but I feel like moving on the harmonica is a lot easier for me, and it's just listening to what's coming out of the guitar and just matching that, and kind of just all by ear and knowing when you gotta breathe in it and when you gotta suck in, and so.
Yeah, that's the one thing I always forget is like, oh, you can, breathe in or breathe out. And it's like when I breathe in, it's like it's just weird to me to like play an instrument that, I don't know. It's just like something that doesn't seem intuitive to it because my whole life I played a trumpet. You don't breathe in playing a trumpet. At least as far as I never did. I don't know. Maybe that's something new they're doing. I don't know.
Some of that valve oil.
Yeah. Oh, yum. Yum. Oh my gosh. So like at what point in time here do you decide you're going to go try to like collect an hour or two's worth of songs and play somewhere, or did you go to a jam first or an open mic first?
Yeah, so like I said, I grew up in Havelock, and back then Havelock was pretty well known. The bar up there was pretty well known for having jam nights and open mics and just that type of stuff. Live music was a big thing there. That was kind of the other place that I really kind of just played. When there wasn't a lot of people in there, I knew the guy that owned it and whatnot, so just kind of played in there, in and out. And then I guess fast forward to college. I didn't play for a while. I went to school and didn't really play guitar very much. And towards the end of college, so about like 2011, 2012, I had some really good buddies. They bought the bar in Havelock.
Okay.
And we all played guitar, all played music, and so I was back, and we were jamming and playing and and just doing little shows in Havelock. And then Al Schroff had a show for where was that at? In Rolfe.
Okay.
At a bar called Daddy T's.
Oh, nice.
And he's like, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Why don't you guys just go do it? So that was the first show we ever played as a band, I guess. Mm-hmm. That was the first band I was in, the only band I've ever been in, I guess.
What'd you call yourselves? We
were the Great Lakes Hybrids.
Not a bad name.
Yeah, right? It's a seed company.
Yeah, yeah.
So one of the guys in the band, Crosby, that they sold Great Lakes Hybrid seed. So
all right, I guess it works. I mean, it all kind of writes itself. I mean, you already have a logo basically chosen, right. And everything. But at the same time, like you start making T-shirts, and somebody might have something to say to you.
Yeah, that's for sure. So yeah, that was the first show we played, and then I guess really fast forward, we played for like 5 years, I think.
Under the same name?
Yeah, pretty hard. Like we were doing, I don't know, 80 to 100 shows.
Oh wow,
a lot.
That's cool.
And I think the first year I still had one more year of school that I was back in UNI, so I was coming back every weekend, and we were playing somewhere, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 22, 23 years old, nothing holding us down or anything, just going out.
Oh yeah,
having fun, partying, playing music. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a good time for sure.
Yeah, I mean that's basically like the dream for a lot of young 20-year-olds that are musicians.
Yeah, and we were just kind of more of a jam band. Like we didn't have a drummer, we didn't have a bass player. It was all string and harmonica, and we just kind of meshed. And 3 of us would play, 2 of us would play, 1 of us would play, all of us would play, and people seemed to like it, so we just kept doing it, and I think that went for about 5 years, and then we. People got married and life kind of started happening for everybody, and
as it does,
right. And somewhere in there, I think you asked about originals. I did have 4, 5, 6, something like that originals, and
you playing with the band?
Yeah, I played them back then. I'll be honest, I don't know if I could play them right now.
Oh wow!
I need to break out my old laptop and pull those out.
Absolutely. Did you record them?
Yeah, I recorded them just like in my bedroom.
Okay.
I don't know what that. I had a little like snowball mic and.
Okay. Yep.
Just recorded it that way, but professionally recorded, no.
Oh, no. Well, do you have them somewhere? Are they like? It's like a demo, basically.
Yeah, they're somewhere. I'd have to do some digging for them, but.
I'd be intrigued to hear them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always think stuff like that's really intriguing because it's like put it out somewhere, let people hear it. You never know, know, or. Like you said, you could go relearn it and record the good parts or the good ones or whatever, or just dice them up and make good songs out of them. With your knowledge now. How many songs have you written since that original set?
I got a notebook at home that's got some songs in it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many, maybe 20 or 30, but...
Do you ever play any of them live?
No. It's just, there's no music to them. It's just basically poetry, I guess. It's just stuff on paper, but... I haven't taken the time to put any music to them yet, I guess. Just kind of where I'm at in my musical little journey, I guess. But
yeah, so what happened after the band ended then? So the band ended. I'm going to have to like guesstimate around here. So that would have been somewhere in the last 5 to 10 years. The band stopped. So
yes, so that God, I don't remember. Like 2018 was probably like the very end of it. 2019, something like that.
That was about when the podcast started, I think, somewhere in that time.
Yeah. And then I didn't play guitar. Like, so COVID happened, right? Like, I didn't play my guitar like all COVID.
Okay.
I have no idea why.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Guess I kind of had like a love-hate relationship with music for a little while, and I don't know why.
Yeah. I mean, like, I get it. I went like 18 to like 27 and didn't play. You know, I just basically like you said, all my friends went to college and stuff, and I didn't. So it's like I don't know anybody that plays music anymore. So I'll just put this in the corner and never look at it again.
Right.
And then eventually I was like, I want to figure out how this thing works.
Right.
You know. So I guess that was where mine was at. But you put the thing away for a while. Like, what got you to bring it back out?
Tired of moving it around in my basement. It's like, hey, I got this nice guitar. I should just start playing it again. And, there was a show. Somebody asked me to play here in Humboldt. I don't remember. It was a bar. What was in 716 before 716?
Rustics.
I think it was at Rustics. And I hadn't played for quite a while. And I got asked to play there, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll play. And played there. And, for 2 or 3 years there, I'd probably played, 10 shows a year. And then the last 2 years, been kicking it up quite a bit. Just kind of sparking more interest and really enjoying it. So
yeah, I've been seeing, like I said, I saw you at that one show, but I saw you, I know you have open mic nights that you kind of, host and stuff, but I may or may not have seen you at like maybe one of the jams at the VFW. I can't remember, but I don't know anymore. I've gone to so many jams, and there's so many jams going on that sometimes I'm just like, I don't care if I'm going to play. So I'll just sit back and just kind of enjoy myself instead of like standing in line basically to play or whatever. But let's talk a little bit about the VFW jams, because that was, or the VFW open mic nights that you run. Because I remember I seeing one like in the fall. Like, how often do you do them? Do you do them once a month? Or?
Yeah, so it's been once a month. I think those started like last May.
Okay.
And it's the third Thursday, or no, excuse me, the last Thursday of the month, I do believe. And those have been going. They're kind of hit and miss. Some Thursdays there's 4 or 5 people that show up to play, and sometimes it's just me playing. And that's it's just how it goes. But it's starting to gain traction.
Yeah. And that's something I feel like you have to go to the well a handful of times. People have to know that that's always going to be there in order for them to start showing up to it.
For sure.
And it's a tough one too, because you have an open mic night, which I think is probably going to be a little more lenient than like a jam night.
Yeah.
So like open mic nights are usually like if you want to come up and read poetry or express yourself in some capacity that's not going to just absolutely shock and awe the audience, go for it. The stage is yours. So if anybody wants to do any open mic nights, interpretive dance, we're talking like any sort of like expressive art of any sort, just go out there and do it. Sing a song. I'm sure there are some limitations because it's just whatever the sound system is there, and the stage is only so big, but at the same time, like, we've had full bands up on that stage. So
yeah,
it's a nice, honestly, the VFW in Dakota City is like, it's big.
It's massive.
Yeah. There's a lot of VFWs that are just tiny little hole in the walls, I mean, most of them have like a dance hall somewhere, but as far as like buildings in Humboldt, that's like basically the big room with a stage you can play.
Absolutely.
I think where else even is there? You'd have to be like at the school probably, right? Otherwise, or just go outdoors somewhere like at Sheldon for the Rockin' Picnic or something. You ever played that?
Yes, I've played the picnic a lot. When I was with the Great Lakes Hybrids, we played. I think that was like the 4th or 5th year they did it. We played as a band, and I've played solo out there. I don't even know how many times. 8 times probably.
Nice,
something like that. Which is awesome. Like the Rockin' Picnic, that's a great thing that they put on for the community, and they do a great job out there.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was something when I finally got my first chance to like go out play out there. I was like, oh sweet, I get to play at the stage here, or whatever. And, I mean, you'd probably have to hunt really far back through the podcast to find. Like, I had played the stage one other time, and it did not end super well. But I might have alluded to that on the podcast with Love Bomb. Okay. Because they were kids, and I just figured I'd regale them with some stories about me being a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was not the first time I'd played on the stage. But at the Rockin' Picnic it was. And, that was like, it was a big deal. It's my hometown, that kind of thing. But I do remember, like, speaking of hometowns, like Havelock, I do remember people talking about the Havelock bar having music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was one of those, like, I'm not trying to, like, put Havelock down, but it was like one of those small town hole in the wall bars that people, like, for some reason would drive to like it was a destination bar. You know, they would bypass bigger cities with more bars to get to that one. And, which is kind of fun to me. You know, I don't know. It's like neat that you grew up in that atmosphere, you know, with all those people around, and, you know, you go to somewhere where, I guess I don't know much about like the music scene in Pocahontas for like school wise, but, you know, like there was a few teachers up, you know, in Humboldt that were like revered and loved, that everybody, you know, they produced good results, and you know, all the kids loved being around him and stuff like that. And I don't know, as an adult, I like being around Raleigh, so I figure, you know, he'd probably pretty good with kids too.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It's just, the whole thing just feels so wholesome and nice. You know, I don't know. It's just kind of fun. But so how'd you start like running into people around here when you started firing back up? Like I know for sure you have a show coming up with Taylor Smith, who's been on the podcast recently. He plays fiddle or violin, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, like you started running into people. Was that like maybe starting the open mic night? Was that kind of like a nice way to start to like learn who's out there and what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. So Taylor, I've known Taylor for quite a while. I met him at UNI.
Cool.
Yeah.
Small world.
Right. Very small world. So whenever that was, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't even remember how we met. We must have had a mutual friend or something.
I'll tell you how you two met. You were standing in a room with normal-sized people, and you looked over top of the whole room of people, and you were the only two people standing as tall as you are. They're both, not to say you're both giants, but you guys are both, you know, over 6 foot. Yeah. So
I think you're probably right. That's probably exactly how it happened.
That's exactly how it happened. Sorry. Anyways, they derailed the story. With
no, that's great.
So
yeah, I met him. I met Taylor, and so obviously, you know, you start talking. Oh, I play guitar. I play fiddle. Oh, that's awesome. I play harmonica. Well, we need to play.
Yeah, that's perfect recipe for some singer-songwriter folk stuff.
Yeah, right. So we jammed a few times over there, and I brought him back. He played with the Hybrids a handful of times.
Cool.
With his fiddle. So yeah, that was great. It was really neat.
I don't recall if he talked about that on his episode. Geez, Taylor, come on. He talked about everything else, but not that. That's really cool, though. It's so wild how it's a small town. It's kind of funny how like you just consider, you know, it's like the Fort Dodge areas, you know, because that's just the biggest city you can point at nearest to you, you know, all of us. But still, it's like you go one county over, and it's still just like, man, there's a lot of cool people over here playing music, and like I haven't crossed paths with everybody yet, you know, which is wild because you've obviously been out there playing music, and you know people I know. Yeah. And you've played shows with people recently that I know, like Jefferson Fossbender. You played a show in Pocahontas with him. Yeah. And, you know, it's like, how have we not really ever crossed paths? I know. You know? It's just kind of a wild thing, you know. It's not like I'm out there hunting down people like I used to be, but like I used to go to shows every night of the week, all the time, you know. And I think what I learned with my time off was how to balance my time a little bit better. But still, it's like, how do you know Jefferson Fossbender? Was that just like you were booked on the same show and played there at the same time, or did you know him from before too?
Nope, that's how that worked out. We were booked for the same show, and I think I opened up for him, and yeah, that's where I met Jefferson at.
Okay.
And yeah, that was in Pokey on Main Street for I don't remember what it was for, but. And that was the first time I had ever heard of him or anything, and I was like, "Man, this guy's very good."
Yeah, that's another one. Very good. Yeah,
this guy's very good.
Oh man, it's so funny though. Like you just go out there and it's like, man, I feel like I could just throw a rock in any of these towns and hit somebody that's good at singing and playing the guitar. There's so many of you. I don't know. I'm just so jealous of the fact that like you guys can all sing so well. If you guys couldn't sing as well, maybe I might have a shot at this thing, you know. But I don't know. I'm regaled to being like the backup singer, which I'm okay with. It's like, yeah, I can double vocals, you know, but I can't be the guy out in front. Were you ever like nervous when you sing and play guitar like your first time, or do you still get nervous if you did? Because like I feel like the singer-songwriter, especially solo, it's like you got nowhere to hide. You know, the only way for your vocals to hide is behind the guitar, and you have to play that too. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
And if the only way for the guitar to hide is behind vocals, you know, and you have to sing those.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm for sure definitely used to get nervous, but anymore I don't really get nervous. I kind of know what I can do. I kind of know what I can offer, and I guess to just do that to the best I can do it on that night, and what comes out is what it is, and I'm there to give it my best, and that's just kind of how I go into most of my shows. And I guess, like you said, you kind of brought up, well, guitar you can't really hide, but you can't stop playing. So if I'm playing the wrong chords, like, it might be ugly for a little while here, fellas, but I'm gonna get through it, and just don't stop playing. And people usually don't know you mess up if you don't stop playing.
A lot of times they don't. Like, my favorite part is like listening to people that are doing something and then you're just like, hey, they made a mistake. And then like about a measure or two later, you're like, was that a mistake? Now I'm not so sure that was a mistake, Right. And it's not like they made another mistake to cover it up or anything. It's just like your mind just plays tricks on you if you just keep going. Like, before you know it, you forgot completely that there was a mistake, you know, 12 seconds ago, and you're like, oh, it doesn't even matter now, But I also feel like the folk singer, folk guitar player, like, if you start, like, let's say, like, making measures too long for no reason, or like too short, like, it almost just fits the pattern with the folk singer. It's kind of fun how that works out.
And that's a great thing about playing by yourself. Like, I don't have to keep a beat if I don't really want to.
Yeah.
And I can speed up when I want to. I can slow down when I want to. And like the times I play with other people, I kind of struggle just because I've never played with a bass player. I've never played with a drummer, with somebody actually keeping a beat. And so I actually find myself struggling more if I'm with a band or with other people.
Like, you're locked into their rigidity,
Yeah.
It is kind of a weird concept, because like I was, I'm not trying to like just make this a Matt Woods podcast, but I was listening to one of his songs on the way to go see him play, and I was like trying to show somebody like, hey, listen to some of this stuff in his songs, because like we were talking about how folk singers can kind of speed up, like you said, speed up or slow down a little bit if you want to, and it's like, if you set a rigid beat on a machine, it doesn't do that, and it can't do that, unless you bend over and move it or make a new one or something.
Right.
It's tough to get people organized to do that, but like by yourself, it's easy. And so like some of his songs have that, and I just call it like the breathability of music, where it's like sometimes it feels like if this part was like 3 beats per minute faster, it's like almost unnoticeable unless you hear the whole rest of the song and you're like, oh, wait a second, that is a little bit faster. But sometimes they feel like they should be a little bit faster,
For sure.
And that's like a funny thing about playing like with songs with Jesse is he'll do like a beatbox over a looper. And the problem with that is it's rigid. It's going to repeat every now and then, and it's just, you're stuck with whatever is there. And it's fun because like there's certain songs where you play and you're like, oh, this song, when we have a full band, it speeds up. And I didn't notice it until I'm stuck with a looper, and it's like, oh, I was getting ready to cut loose here, and it's you can't. So that's kind of like a crazy concept, because I basically grew up playing guitar, and like the first person when I started figuring out how to play guitar well I played with was a drummer, and that was kind of like I used them to like keep me honest and on the beat, and you're more of a breathability kind of person in music. Do you ever like go to like jam nights that are at the VFW? Because I know there's one of those, whatever,
I think it's the second Thursday
of the month, something like that,
I believe.
And there's usually like a host musician with a host band, and you can kind of just come in and toss your name in the hat and hop up there whenever, Do you ever go to like any of those, or do you kind of shy away from those because of your playing style?
I mean, I've been to a few of the ones at the VFW, but yeah, I mean, it's just, and I think it's just something I got to just do more. You know what I mean? To get more comfortable in those type of settings and situations and whatnot. But yeah, I've been up to the VFW for a few of their jams. Yeah.
Do you ever go to any ones before Dodge or anything like that? Or like Barnum used to have one. I know that's kind of a jaunt for you. But.
Right. I have not been to the one, was it the Eagles Club?
Second floor of the Eagles. Yep. Yeah. It's what they call it? Eagles Hideout.
Yeah. I have not been down to that one, but from what I can tell, there's a lot of really good musicians that show up to that one.
Yeah. That one's kind of fun because like usually I always feel like jam nights can turn into a thing where like the singer songwriter person is like they're the focal point, because like it's just like, well, you got to play another song, you got to play another song, you got to play another song, and like you go to the jam nights in Fort Dodge, sometimes it's like, well, half an hour went by and they played 4 songs, and it's not because they took long breaks, it's because the songs are all 7 minutes each, you know, and
right.
So they become like the canvas for everyone to draw on at those kind of things. It kind of depends on how they are, you know, how they're formed, or like who's there and what the attitude of the jam is, and those are kind of fun ones for that aspect. I know like Byron's and Pomeroy's more of an acoustic singer-songwriter one, you know, and the one in Barnum was kind of dependent on who showed up. Sometimes it'd be like, you know, somebody playing a harmonica up there with them, and sometimes you'd have a full band, and sometimes somebody bringing a violin or something. It was just kind of whatever happened, you know.
Right.
So as far as like starting a band, do you have any plans to like start a new band?
You know, I think that's definitely a goal eventually, would be to definitely get into another band at some point. I don't think I'm quite ready to do that, but you know, I mean, whatever happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would definitely be a goal, would to be in another band for sure.
All right. So like this other band you're going to start, are you going to go the same route as your other band, or are you going to go like with different musicians? Because we just talked about like drummer, bassist, whatever. Are you going to go that route? Because I mean, that is like, I don't want to say like the typical route, but like you could do just fine without that, because there are a few bands in the area that like just have like a cajon player as a drummer.
Yep.
And nothing against cajon players, but it's like you don't need a full on bass, drum, full rhythm section.
Right. I think you know, I think I would go the more traditional way, just because it's something I haven't really done.
Yeah.
A whole lot of. And I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think that's something that, you know, in my short musical career would be something that I would really want to do eventually.
All right. So, well, we're going to go back to like originals. If you get a full band together, you're going to bust out some of these songs.
Probably going to have to.
Start turning them into, you know, or just like jam together and then just be like, all right, we're putting these words to that song because it sounds like it would fit. So then you just kind of morph it into it. I mean, there's I could see something happening here. Do you have any like dreams to record anything or anything like that? Do you have like, you know, like that thought of like, it would be nice to get something just to say it's there and I did it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think I'm quite ready to do some of that stuff, but yeah, that's definitely in my future, I would say.
Nice. So there are aspirations and goals to all this. Do you have any other like goals we didn't like kind of like meander past in this one, or like?
No, I think, you know, the cool thing about our area is all the places that want live music.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from Humboldt, there's 10 places that I can play at in under 10-minute drive, you know?
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then Fort Dodge, talk about the music scene down there. It's massive. There's a lot of places down there a guy can play. Mm-hmm. So as far as what I would want to do, you know, I think I wouldn't want to get too crazy big. Like I wouldn't want to be going to Minneapolis, going to Kansas City, you know, things like that. It'd be something local, play local, stay local, and that's kind of what I would probably want to be more of a part of. Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I'm not trying to out you, but like you're a family person, right? Yeah.
You got a family and everything, so like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it would be tough. It'd be so tough to balance it all, you know. And you know, like, was that something where once you kind of had everything figured out in that aspect, you were like, all right, I'm going to go out and play a few more shows here and a few more shows, and just kind of slowly fold it in?
Yep.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
You seem like a very was the word pragmatic? You seem like you think things out and actually execute them to a plan.
Sometimes.
Well, if not, it seems like you're doing a very good job of it. At least, you know.
Sometimes. Sometimes I'm really good at winging it, or really bad at winging it too.
So what are some of your favorite shows you've played then? So, I mean, now knowing that you have played with a band before, or an ensemble, or whatever you want to call it, I will still call it a band. So you played with a band, you know, what are some of your favorite shows you played? Because, I mean, you said Rock and Picnic. I mean, that's a fairly big show, you know? Have you played any other kind of big shows?
I mean, that would probably be the biggest show, I think, as far as people-wise.
You guys ever do any street dances and things like that?
Yeah, we did a few street dances. Man, this is kind of got to wring my head here for a second. Think about
Yeah, my favorite part about this is like I don't give anyone any of the questions ahead of time. I'm just thinking off the cuff half the time with a small skeleton list of stuff here. But
we played Crash My Crater one year.
Cool.
It had to have been like the second year that what's Jesse? Is that his name?
Yeah, Jesse Grossnickel. Yeah, I think that's right.
That he put on.
That's cool.
Yeah, I can't remember who we opened for. Logan Mize.
Okay.
Logan Mize played that night. So I guess that was kind of a bigger show for us.
For sure.
For us, kids from Havelock.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, like, I don't know what it was like when it first started. I'm sure it was still a big deal, but like nowadays it is a big deal to go out there and play in front of all those people. That's a lot of people, and like Fort Dodge has something similar, like the Downtown Country Jam, and that's another one where it's like I played that like 2 years ago with Jesse, and it was just like, you start playing and you're like, there's like 300 people or 400 people here. There's a couple, it's a couple blocks. By the time our like half an hour set was done, you're like, oh, there's like 2,000 people in here now at least. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot, like, it was like I looked up and I'm like, I'm not nervous. Then you get done playing, you're like, oh, I'm glad I wasn't really like looking around at how many people are actually here.
Right.
And you still like, at this point in time, were you ever like nervous going out and playing, like even Crash My Crater, where you kind of like, all right, this one's a little different.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I think that was one of the first shows we played that the sound was there for us. We didn't have to set anything up.
Oh, cool.
So, I mean, that was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, we need to figure this out some more,
Yeah, find a way to make this happen.
Plug and play.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some nerves there for sure. I mean, that was a fun show. Other than that, my favorite shows to play are packed small bars.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I love it. I love that vibe. I love that feel. I love, that type of crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would take that any day over a street dance,
mm-hmm.
I guess, for lack.
Yeah, street dances are also like kind of hit and miss because sometimes it's like the first 40 feet is the people dancing and there's 20 of them.
Yeah.
And it's the whole width of a stage or whatever. And then the beer tent is, you don't want it next to the stage because that gets in everyone's way. So you put it on the other end, and that's where half the people are hanging out at least, is right there next to the beer tent. So street dances are fun because, I mean, like sometimes they're like that and other times it's like people are going nuts right in front of you on the stage. So I don't know. It just... all the shows are so different. It's kind of crazy how you can't really even categorize like, oh, I play county fairs. Like every county fair show is different, or whatever it is, So that's kind of fun just thinking about like all the old shows that I've played, and it's like, you've been out there. Like I couldn't imagine, I feel like our playing thing was like, we're about the same age. I'm just like a touch older than you, but it's like you played further into your 20s than I did and then quit and then picked it back up later. And I was like, I quit like instantly. And I feel like I wished I would have taken your route, rather than like picking it back up at like, 26 or 7, whatever it was. But so I'm getting close down here to the end of this. I do want to say once again that you do have, open mic nights at the VFW. It is the last Thursday of the month. And as this episode comes out, your next show that I could find on Facebook was Friday, February 7th at 8 p.m. at the VFW. These are both in Dakota City. That show at Friday, February 7th is at 8 p.m. with Taylor Smith. I've played shows with Taylor. The dude's a beast. He's one of those guys that like, he knows that I probably know the part to most songs, but I can like literally like we can get up to a part like we were playing like the song Higher by Creed because somebody requested it, and we're like playing. He's like, "Can you take me high?" And then it's got that boo boo boo, and I was like, I don't know this. I like turn and look back at him. He's just like, like it's like, okay, this guy's got it. He's got it. So you do have some shows coming up. Do you have any like social medias or anything that people can follow, or are you still just kind of out there with just a personal profile?
Yeah, just personal profile for now. I've been tossing around the idea of getting a music page. It's been playing more shows lately and plan for that to continue. I haven't done that yet. I'm sure I probably will, but yeah, it's just my personal profile.
All right.
Which is my name.
Yeah. So pretty easy to find. When I searched Zach Suntken, I did not find too many more of you in existence.
I think there's probably just maybe one.
All right. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to find the right one. And I'm not going to put any links down there. I really don't like putting personal profile links down below. I did that a couple times in like really old episodes, and it was funny because people were just like, I got like 80 people added me, and it's like, that's a bit rough. You know, I'd rather just go with the pages. But because this episode doesn't come out to the 30th, so we got a little bit of time. But if you end up making one before then, let me know, and I'll pop it down below. So
sure.
Everybody look in the description if there's some social media stuff down below. Check it out. Otherwise, just search him up, hit him up, say, hey, I want you to come play my bar. I can vouch for him. The dude's a beast. He sings great. He's very tall. So make sure the stage is just like a half height stage so people don't get too self-conscious. Yeah, I feel like I'm just about done with everything I've got on here. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that like maybe I glossed over? Might be like a fun little tidbit to add in here.
You're the professional, man.
Am I really though?
You are.
I don't know about that. I'm just the person that puts it all together and puts it online. I can't believe it's been going this long and people still listen to it. But I'm just waiting for somebody to get better at this than I am and replace me is all really is happening.
I think you're it.
I'm the guy?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
It's a good problem.
Well, it's really cool. Like, I really want to try and get out to one of your open mic nights. I don't know exactly, like, do you ever do, like, duo acoustic stuff up there or, like, bring up any sort of ensemble, or is it usually just one person at a time kind of deal?
It's free flowing. There's been 3 of us up there before playing at the same time.
Cool.
On the open mic night, it kind of turns into a jam, I guess, a little bit, but
nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just kind of wherever the night takes us, I guess. But that open mic's been good, and that's for anybody. It's for anything, whatever you want to do, comedy, poetry.
Cool.
Jamming out.
Comedy, that'd be a good one.
Yeah.
I always have like a few bits where it's like, I'm going to try these bits out. And then you like go say it in front of somebody and you're like, well, that took 40 seconds. Like that's not nearly enough to stand on stage for, to tell like one premise with like 4 jokes attached to it. So, man, comedy's a crazy one. I wish there was more comedians or comedy places like around this area. But I also understand how like in small towns, it might be kind of tough to want to go out there and cut loose a little bit though.
A little difficult.
Yeah. So, but yeah, if somebody like, I'll start going to these things if somebody's like, I want to start practicing my routine, I'll go watch it every single time. Let me know.
Yep.
I will show up and I will be front row center with popcorn. I swear.
Absolutely.
I definitely got to go out to one of these things though, and just like scope it out, see who all shows up, bring a guitar, leave it in my car just in case. Somebody says, all right, get up here, and I'll be like, okay.
You got to bring it in.
I'm not going to sing. Dude, you
can't just leave it in your car.
That's classic me, because I'm just like, it's in my car. It's all outside. I can't go get it.
It's good to go scope it out first.
Yeah, somebody's always like, well, just play my guitar. And it's like, your guitar is way nicer than my guitar I brought. I feel bad playing this. And that's usually what happens, honestly. But there's a few times I've like, it's like, all right, I'm not playing this. I got to go get mine because mine's like $100 and yours is like a nice guitar. So, because I don't know. I don't know. Otherwise, I really want to like invite you to come out to like one of the jam nights somewhere. Otherwise, just the VFW one, because I know it's close by to both of us. Like, if you're ever swinging out to one of those, I'll definitely swing out there with you, play some songs with you, whatever. Because I feel like a nice little collaboration works out pretty well. Would work out pretty well. Just if nothing more than just for fun, for a jam night for a few songs.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like. That's kind of where I started cutting my teeth, and that's kind of where a lot of people figured out who I was and like started playing shows with people randomly, and not that I'm like looking to play more shows because I have been pretty busy, but at the same time, like, I go to the jam nights and I'm always like, I don't know, I'm going to do bad. And then you start playing and you're like, that wasn't bad. That was actually fun, So I'm kind of swinging back into that phase of my life where I think it's fun to, just go up there and try and play music with new people.
We definitely should do that.
Yeah.
And now that I know you live right in town, it's a game changer.
Yeah, I'm right over here. It's not that bad.
I drive by this big old brick house for the last 12 years thinking, I wonder who lives there.
Yeah.
And now I know.
Yeah. I am in here. So scram, everybody.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We should definitely do that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
how long have you played with Jesse?
Since like 2000. And like the funny thing is like there's stories
like 2000 like 2000.
No, excuse me, 2020. I'm sorry, my brain said the wrong word. But so I was trying to think of the next story. It's like I was running before I caught the ball and I fumbled it. But when I first started going to jam nights and things like that, I played a little bit of guitar, but there was almost never a bassist at any of the jams I went to. So I just brought a bass most of the time because it's like me plunking around on this thing is better than nobody playing it. And there's usually another guitarist somewhere. So I'll just fill in this gap. And so the first couple of shows I played with Jesse, I played bass with him. You know, and it's like one of those things where I don't know why. It was just, yeah, you play bass? Sure, yeah, I don't know. I have a bass and an amp. I'll bring it with and we'll play it with you, you know. So
I'll do it. Yeah,
so I just started playing that. And then after a while, it was just like, people like, oh, wait, you play guitar? And it's like, yeah, I just play bass because nobody else wants to, it seems like, you know. And so then I started playing guitar. So that was like 2020-ish, was about like, I think it was New Year's Eve 2019 into 2020 was the first show we played. So
nice.
Otherwise, I did play once. I think I had like a bass and an amp in my car for like, I was given a lesson somewhere maybe. And it was still in my car, and I was like at a show watching him, and he was like, "Yeah, come up and play a few songs." So I like just wheeled it in to like bootleggers in Fort Dodge. It was just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna play bass with this guy I met at a jam night, 2 weeks ago or whatever. But I mean, that's just kind of how it happens. And I don't know. I feel like making yourself flexible in some capacities. If you're looking for gigs to play, that's kind of like the best way to go do it, and just I don't know. I found a love for playing music, and the singer-songwriter style is not something I usually gravitated towards. But like when you go to jam nights, that's usually what it is. And if it's not one of those, it's like a blues jam night, So you're playing,
for sure, especially around here.
Yeah, you're playing Kansas City, and you're playing all the same songs everyone always plays, And it's no different than just the singer-songwriter ones that go on either. It's just a different variety of the same old, But it was kind of fun to like kind of lean into different areas, And now I'm playing like country songs and things like that, which is never something I like listen to on my own, nowadays I'm like leaning more into like math rock, which is like people playing like weird syncopated, like odd time signature stuff. Okay. It's usually like really nerdy guys who went to like music school and then they're just hyperactive. So that's why that's how their brain expresses music. But otherwise, jam nights are super fun. I feel like that's where I met most of the people I ever met, and that's actually not how we met, but kind of close. Almost, almost. So, anyways, I feel like we can wrap this bad boy up here, but Zach, has been great, like getting to know you. I hope everyone else that didn't know you got to know you.
For sure.
The funnest part about this was the fact that you've been around playing music longer than I have, and I didn't know who you were. And I'm just like, where did this guy come from? And it's like, I've been doing the thing like the whole time. I just took a little break, and it's like, oh, the break you took was when I started, basically. Yeah. So it's kind of weird how that all worked out. But it's super cool. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to do this.
Oh, man, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. I really do.
There you have it, everybody. The story of Zach. It was so good getting to know him in this podcast. I knew he was going to be a great guy. Guess what? I wasn't wrong. It's one of those things where you just kind of, some of the guys, when you talk to them, you just know. And Zach seems like such a great guy. It's fun to know that he knows people that I know. And he probably knows way more people than I think, than we talked about. It's just kind of cool to know that he's out there doing the thing. As of right now, I don't believe he's got a Facebook or any social media other than his personal account. But, if you want to find him, just go out there, look him up. There's not almost any other one. He's the one. If you find him online, he's the one. So check him out. If you guys are looking for somebody to play a show, hit him up. He's just starting to come back around and start playing shows. I know he's playing shows with Taylor Smith coming up. There's all sorts of good stuff going on. That show with Taylor is coming up Friday, February 7th at 8 p.m. at the VFW in Dakota City. That's going to be a great one. Otherwise, keep your eyes peeled for the open mic nights that he runs. I went out to one of those and clowned around a little bit. I didn't sing because I leave that to the professionals. That's all you guys. So I just went up there and noodled around a little bit while some other people were playing music, and it was pretty fun. It was a good time. So, it's great to have Zach around the area playing music. I'll have to pick his brain a little bit more about, playing shows and things like that because, like I said, he's getting out there and he's doing it again. So it's nice to know that, that the guy can sing. He can sing so well. And it's fun watching him collaborate with other people because, at a lot of the open mic nights and a lot of the jam nights, it's the first time a lot of us have played together. And sometimes it's the first time some of us have ever played any of the songs that we're playing, which is also really cool. So hats off to Zach for creating an environment for people to do that. That's really cool. Like I said, I don't have any social medias for him down below for professional pages and things like that. But, you can find him online. So if you guys are looking for him to hire him for a gig, just search him on Facebook. You'll find him. Hit him up. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty much it for this episode. I want to say thanks once again to the Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association for sponsoring the episode. I want to say thanks to you guys for listening to the episode. And if we can merge those two together, you guys should check out FDT, Fort Dodge's podcast for Fort Dodge Fine Arts Association. They talk about thoughtful exchange about the arts, the first Friday of every month, and it is produced by yours truly, but it is hosted by none other than Shelley Bodorf, the legendary Shelley Bodorf. So if you guys are looking for some fun to listen to, if you can't get enough of me talking, listen to Shelley talk for a while. I throw a few barbs in here there, Sometimes I think my tidbits are good. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but that's a great podcast. Kind of the same flavor as this one, sitting down talking with individuals about what they do for music, art, and things like that around the Fort Dodge area. But it's great knowing there's a different host. It's fun when there's different hosts for podcasts because they can pull different information out of people, and I think that's one of the key things that is making that podcast as successful as it is. So be sure to check it out. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, on Audible Farm's YouTube channel, or you can check it out on the feed for this podcast. So if you're listening in audio, you can probably just scroll back through and you'll find a few of the episodes. New episodes are out the first Friday of every month, so check that out as well. Otherwise, everything Audible Farm, check it out, Facebook, Instagram, X, whatever. We're on everything. If you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure you click that subscribe button. Thank you. A lot of people have been subscribing lately, so that's pretty awesome. I gotta say thanks to everyone that's been listening. We still have a pile of audio listeners too. That's my preferred method. I'm always listening to podcasts driving down the road, so that's really cool. So thank you guys. Whatever way you consume Audible Farm, thank you very much. If you find an episode that you think is extra good, reach out, let us know, leave a comment somewhere, share it with one of your buddies, whatever you gotta do to kind of help get the word out. I do want to say our Facebook is terribly close to getting 1,600 likes or follows or one of the two or whatever. The point I'm trying to make is you can go to our Facebook page and invite some people if you want to, or don't. It's up to you. This podcast is going to be free regardless, so check it out. Thank you guys very much for all the support. You've been supporting me so much through the reboot of Audible Farm. It's weird because it just comes and goes. For a while you just can't, there's not enough time to interview all the people that want an interview, and then there's weird times where it's just I sent out 12 messages this week and nobody wants to meet up, or nobody can, or it's just not going to work out. So yeah, I don't know, hopefully we can just keep going. Otherwise I'm just going to put out a solo episode just like old times. So thank you guys very much for supporting Audible Farm in any way, shape, or form. Any way you're doing it, I really appreciate it. audiblefarm.com for everything else. Peace.